It's time again to unwind and enjoy the best of good music and hot news stories on JJZ, Just with Zika, on iGroup Radio, Tuesdays and Thursdays, 11 a.m. to 12 noon. Just with Zika. Crazy!
Race just like that. I'm singing and everyone is dancing. I like the positive energy from that, track. We always accuse Nigerian artists of singing trash, but I think that this song is actually very positive. He's actually prophesying into his life. He's saying, just like that, I'm singing like that, I'm a star. What did you say to yourself every single day? I'm a star. Welcome to Just with Zeke. If just joining us, it is on iGroove Radio, www.igrooveradio.com. And on Facebook, it's iGroove Radio. On Twitter, at iGroove World. And keep the conversation going. Follow me on Twitter, at ZikaLicious1. Okay, so I told you that I had a very special guest in the house. And I'm looking at him to see if he's going to be shy. But he's not shy. With me, ladies and gentlemen, Femi Shawolu, a broadcaster, journalist, public commentator, scriptwriter, social media activist, author, media consultant, voiceover artist, and producer. What are you?
All that and more, I guess. I don't know. Jack of all trades.
Master of all, right?
You said that. Good morning.
Okay, let me just give you a small background of what he actually is all about. He spent 37 years in the industry, so he's not 21 years old. You might hear his voice and go like, oh, he's cute. He must be 25. No. 37 years in the industry, guess how old he'll be? But he's still cute though. Anyway.
That's easy.
Anyway, he works with Ogun State Broadcasting Corporation. He also worked with Grand Advertising, Rhythm 93.7 upon its inception. He was director of the radio services at Radio Continental. He was general manager of Smooth 98.1 FM. He worked on some notable projects such as, he was narrator for Gulda Ultimate Search Seasons 1 to 3, 4 to 10. That's a lot of money, Uncle Femi. How come I never get a cut from all this money? Seriously.
I wish you knew.
I was your personal assistant. I never got anything.
Were you?
This is so unfair.
We'll get that.
He was also series head writer, All-Star Quest Music reality TV show, head writer, Gulda Ultimate Search Season 3, head writer, Multina Dance All 2007 and 2011 to 2012, producer, presenter, Calypso Jazz, producer, presenter, Benton Hedges Golden 12 Season 4, producer, presenter, Fine Tunes. There's no time to say everything. He's also happily married. In this business, where you're an entertainer, it is sometimes sad to know that many of those who are big top shots don't have marriages that do too good. So, congratulations, Femi Shawolu.
I thank you very, 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 very much.
Very much. I'm always prone to call you Uncle Femi, but it's radio, so I'll call you Femi. I get to bully you today, so it's all good.
That'll be a first. Enjoy it while it lasts. It will never happen
I
again.
will, definitely will. Okay, so let's talk about you. How did all this start for you, radio? At that time, it wasn't, a well-paid job, so why radio?
It wasn't just not a well-paid job. It was also a job that most people actually looked down on. If you were on radio, or if you were in the media, or if you were an actor, or a musician, or in the arts generally, your parents and your families definitely wouldn't want you to go do that. I like to state that my generation, people of my generation, were those who broke all those barriers down of what society felt that real jobs should be.
So why radio? Why did you ever pick that kind of job?
Well, because I was fortunate enough, like it or not, my parents didn't know that they were the ones who actually planted the seed in me. Okay, they didn't want me to work on radio, but I must have been 12 or 13, and I got one of these little transistor radios. They were about this size back then, about the size of our mobile phones today. And I got that as a birthday gift at 12 or 13, and I just fell practically in love with it. It was years after the Second World War, late 60s, early 70s, around about that time. And Japan had just about risen out of the ruins of war and had become one of the technological superpowers of the world. Japan back then is what we like to call countries like Thailand, Malaysia these days. The new technologies emerging, the so-called, what do they call them? The new tigers, of the economic market.
Okay.
So I had that radio, and I was in boarding house. And every time, past masters, school rules and all that, it was illegal. They kept on seizing them, but I kept on getting another one. So I just practically fell in love with the radio. I kept on wondering, what magic is this that I can hear voices from this little gadget? And I started liking them. And I started discovering stations from all over the world. I graduated after a couple of years to shortwave transmissions, and I could hear practically broadcasters from Europe, from America, from Australia. And I just fell in love with radio. So I keep on insisting that, yes, a lot of people make a mistake and say, okay, yeah, I wanted to be this, but I found myself in radio. Femi surely did not make a mistake by becoming. I always wanted to be a broadcaster.
So there was never a time you got discouraged and say, oh, there's no money, let me go and find an oil company job.
I knew what I wanted
white collar
to do,
job.
and it was in front of a microphone. I made no mistake about it. I finished school and I went straight to do my first audition, and I was accepted.
How was it with the girls when you told them, look, I'm a radio DJ? They said, please, you don't got no money.
Back then, your elder sisters weren't about the money.
Okay.
They were about the swag.
The swag. So you had like too much swag. You're like, I'm a radio DJ.
Suave.
Suave. Okay.
Come with style. Had to, you were popular.
Mm-hmm.
And you were in the media. Anywhere you go, all the kids were running after you. You had a big name. Girls would rush after you. It's never been an easy profession. That's the way it works. These days it's more about money, I know. But back then nobody had any money.
Really?
Yeah, nobody really had any money. We were all just having fun. It was never about the money.
Okay, so you've done radio. You also do voiceovers. You're a professional voiceover artist. You've done that for so many years as well too. So how has it been? Every time you hear your voice on a jingle somewhere, do you feel excited? Do you feel fulfilled? How do you feel exactly?
No, really. I never really. Most of my career, have never really ever desired or wanted to listen to myself. I hardly ever do. I've never recorded any of my programs. I don't listen to radio that often. That's a surprise, right?
Really?
That's the truth.
That's weird.
I used to do a lot of that. But these days I really don't listen to radio much. And
can you tell us, you have a reason why you do what you do?
You really want me to say that?
Yeah, please.
I don't want to make no enemies.
You actually had a post on your blog. You talked about the kinds of stations that we have now.
I always write about radio every now and then when I finally pop in to do a little listen and then I run away again.
So just tell us, why don't you listen to radio
Because
now?
the standards are awful.
Really?
Absolutely awful.
Is it that bad?
It's tragic. It's tragic.
Can't you give some people like thumbs up, like, okay, good job?
Definitely there are a few great stations out there. I don't want to mention names.
Like I Groove Radio, great station.
I must tell you, I'm absolutely impressed by what I see around here. I like what I hear, and it's pretty good.
Yes.
That's an issue that should be discussed in more cerebral atmospheres, I guess. Why the authorities give the people they give radio licenses to. They probably give them to the wrong people. They should give them to the practitioners.
That's another, because
it's
exactly the problem.
It's a serious subject.
Yes. As a presenter, you work with all kinds of radio stations. You get called up to get jobs for different stations. And when you get there and you speak to the owners, you're kind of disappointed. Sometimes they offer you money and say, don't do this. You work for me, you cannot do
because
this.
Because the owners have no business running radios. They don't know nothing about radio.
Exactly.
70% of most privately owned radio organizations in Nigeria today, as we speak, are owned by politicians.
True.
Senators,
True.
members of the House of Representatives,
True.
governors, members of the Federal Executive Council, even, and I'm laughing because I have to laugh, even a local government chairman owns a station in Nakure.
Are you kidding me?
That's how bad it has become.
So they tell you, look.
Now, look at all the professionals amongst us.
Yes.
How many of us do own maybe one or two or
Right.
three
Right.
max?
Yes, that's
It's
sad.
tragic.
I guess I guess you have to have some kind of level of amount of money to be able to open one, and so
It's obnoxious. The fees are absolutely obnoxious.
crazy fees, right?
You can't open a station, a terrestrial station in Nigeria, if you don't have at least 100 million in your bank account. Now, if I don't steal that money, where am I going to get it from?
True. True. It's
So
a sad situation, actually. And we also have situations where people like owners come in and tell you what to play on air, what to see on air, and they want to sound a particular way. And they say, look, can't you play Akbala music? There's nothing wrong with Akbala music. I mean, but
Well,
if you're
that's
trying to open a station that's entertainment and you're playing so many local stuff, and you're not, in an area you have local people, I mean, that's kind of
Well, the
sad.
station has to have its own rules and regulations.
Exactly.
And if the station is built for that, you obviously don't have a choice, really. And then again, you know how it is. The piper will always dictate the tune, no matter what it is. If the owner wants that, the owner gets it. If you can't handle that, resign, get out of the place. It wasn't made for you.
All right, let's go back to voiceovers. So you're that good with voiceovers. Sometimes I see you rush into the studio. You don't even you just glimpse of the script. Like, okay, let's go. And the younger ones who they keep memorizing and they keep saying, okay, let's rehearse again, eh? Take your part, I'll take my part. But you just come like, okay, what do you want me to do? All right, and because of that, I'm going to give you my own personal script. And you're going to, it's a movie script actually, and I want you to, the best way you can, give us your best with this script. So he's going to play an instrumental for you. And you will read that the best way you can.
Now, voiceovers are usually paid.
Hold on.
How much are you paying?
Hold on. Okay, go.
From the people that brought to Buddha panel comes the blockbuster national conference. It's filled with all the people you want to share. It's filled with all the people who want their share of the national cake. It's guaranteed to waste your time and probably not solve any problems. National conference showing on the NTA and syndicated stations nationwide. Watch out for part 2.
Amazing! It was definitely the best
Zika.
I've ever heard.
That could take you to jail. That could
It's just
absolutely
for
take you
laughs.
to jail. Let me tell you about voiceovers. There's a process to everything in life. Babies are born, at first they're carried, then they learn how to crawl.
Right.
They finally can stand up on their feet. In a couple of weeks, they learn how to walk. In a couple of years, they can run. Then they can jump. Then they can climb. There's a process to everything in life. The voiceover aspect of presentation is actually the top of the class. To get there, you must have passed through all the other levels. I tell people that. To be an effective presenter of spoken word, which is what a voiceover artist does,
True.
is you have learned all the other stages and mastered them so perfectly that even if they throw you a script in the middle of the night, you know exactly how to tackle it.
That was
But then these days, everybody just wakes up, okay, I want to be a voiceover artist, and they go to the studio. He's never been an announcer. He's never been a presenter of anything. He's never read news in his life. He's never done anything. And he wants to start doing voiceovers. Why? Because the voiceover part of the profession earns the most money. So he's there for the money. And he excels. No.
You also hear a couple of jingles on the radio and you're like, what in the world was that? Whoever produced that kind of jingle? it's just like you have too many people who are not professionals in the field.
Everybody
and-
just wants to make some money.
Yeah,
Nobody
everybody
wants to
wants
do
to.
that.
It's just sad, really.